What up, all you worship peoples? Thanks for joining me. I'm Nate Meist, and I love equipping worship leaders with helpful and encouraging content. And today, you're going to be taking a look at my process for creating set lists. Let's get into it. Alright, so creating set lists. Making a good set list can actually be really challenging and can sometimes take a good amount of time. I remember making my first set list back when I was 15. My worship leader then kind of sat me down and they basically told me I was going to be the worship leader for my youth group. That's how I got started. But so he sat me down to make my first set list, and I've been making those things ever since. So, and even today, I still have some that are like, they didn't work out, quite as I hoped, and I'll make others that I'm like, wow, that was surprisingly really good. But crafting set lists, putting songs together and having it flow nicely, it can be a good amount of work to make that happen sometimes. One of the most important steps that I'm not going to include in this video is prayer. I think that before anything, you should ask the Lord, what songs should I be playing, God? Like, what songs does the church need to be singing in this season right now? Please guide me, please help me to choose a set list, to choose songs that are going to help people, that are going to minister to people, and that are going to glorify you ultimately. And if you wanted some more info into how I make set lists, I actually have an article I wrote on my blog, natemeist.com, called This Is How I Create Set Lists. It's pretty obvious, so I'll link that above and below. But why don't we go ahead and get this set list creation process started? So let's head over to my computer. Alright guys, so here we are. I have my set list document open here in Pages. And I have a little 3-column setup here, as you can see. I'm on the 3rd page. We're halfway through the year now. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to copy and paste my most recent set from the 11th. So I'll go ahead and paste that down here. It's going to be for July 18th. That's the set list that we're going to be making. And I honestly have no clue as far as the songs I'm going to pick. So this is going to be like on the fly. I want it to be as authentic as possible for you guys. I do know that what my band setup is, and obviously the day that I'm playing it on and all that, so that definitely helps. And speaking of the band, that's probably going to be the first thing that I look at before moving forward with planning this set. I'm going to see my band setup. Who do I have playing? Is it a full band? Sometimes, as you can see, I have an acoustic setup. And for the 18th, it's kind of like a hybrid. So I'm going to have a cajon player. I'll be on acoustic. I'll have a background vocalist. I'll have a bass player. And I'll have a keyboard player. So I'm going to remove this acoustic label so it's more accurate. And so yeah, so that's the first thing I look at is the band. What is my band? That determines a lot. Who is singing that day? Which background vocalist do I have? What songs can I give them to lead? So that's the first thing I look at is my band setup. The next thing I'm going to look at is the calendar, which I have already done. But I'm going to look at, what day is it? For us as a church, we do communion on the first Sunday of every month. So as you can see up here on the first Sunday of July, I have a communion song. I look at that. I look at, am I going to be able to rehearse that week? I had a night of worship on Wednesday the 7th, which means for the 11th, I actually didn't have a rehearsal for that Sunday. So, I kind of kept that in mind as I planned the songs, because are they songs that I can pull off easily with just a morning of rehearsal, a day of rehearsal? So that's the second thing I do is I check the calendar to see when this particular Sunday is within the month. Alright, so let's get into the set list. What I like to do in terms of choosing songs, there's many things that go into choosing the songs, obviously. And like I already said in the intro of this video, one of the most important things is to pray. After that step, that very important step,
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what I played about a month ago in my rotation. So I'm going to go back to the 20th, which was Father's Day, and I'm going to see what songs I was doing there. What was my opening song? So you can see here I did Lion and the Lamb, opening song. Here's to the One by Hillsong United. I have this little dash in here because that's when one of our pastors comes out and they do a responsive scripture reading with the church, and they pray, and then we continue with worship. So that's to remind me that this song up here, the opening song, is kind of standalone in that way. So, and then there I had Here's to the One, and then we did a new song, and I can tell we did a new song because I have it color marked here. All the songs that I have in green, that's the first time I did that song. So on Father's Day, I did Canvas and Clay for the first time, and then I did Nothing Else by Cody Carnes, and then I just did Holy, Holy, Holy. I'm trying to think of the rendition we did. I believe it's the Audrey Assad version of Holy, Holy, Holy. So that's my, that's the first thing I check is what did I do like a month ago, because I don't like things to get too repetitive, and that's kind of like the general rotation that I'll put songs into once they're introduced. Now, there's obviously caveats to all that. The first and most obvious being that, whenever you have a new song, you need the church to learn it. And my personal preference is to do it at least 2 Sundays in a row after you've introduced it. So you can see here, I introduced Canvas and Clay on the 20th, 27th, Canvas and Clay, the 4th, Canvas and Clay, and then the 11th, I take a little break. Maybe I'll do it here on the 18th. So that'll be the first song that I put in. Let's do that. Canvas and Clay, key of B is really good. In terms of placement, it's a slower song, but it's not really slow. You know what I'm saying? So it does really work well as a second song after everyone's been seated. But you know what? Let's be crazy and get out of the box, and we'll put it as the third or the fourth song. Here from now. Okay. All right. So now, why don't we leave that there, Canvas and Clay, and then why don't we go to the top of the set, and we'll try to find a good opening song. Basically, I just start scanning the set list, the previous set list, all the opening songs, and just helping my brain get ideas, thinking of my band setup and all that. So, it might be good to do Here's to the One. Why don't we put that one as the first one? That was a month ago, so the rotation isn't too bad. And I'll put it as the first song instead of the second. You can see how it was the second song in the set list for Father's Day. So just to change things up, yeah, I played it a month ago, but even beyond that, I still want it to feel fresh. So I'll change up where the song was played if I can. So Here's to the One, that works pretty well even with kind of a more acoustic setup. So that'll be the first song that I do. Then He Rose. I haven't done that one in a while. I kind of like to do Then He Rose on days that we're going to do communion, because it's, one of those communion-y type songs. But, it's a good song to sing at any time. It's always good to sing about the cross, right? So why don't we put that here? I haven't done that one in a while. And you can pull that off with the setup that I have. So haven't done that song in a while. So Here's to the One, Then He Rose. So now that I have these songs, I kind of start looking at theme. I'm also looking at key, the key of the song. So this Then He Rose was in A. I do have the people sit down after this first song, so it provides a little bit of a transition time that gives some time to change the key if I need to. Canvas and Clay, I need to be in the key of B. For Canvas and Clay, why don't we look at the lyrics? Okay. Okay. So there's not too much in here about the cross. So that's kind of what I wanted to check. So, all right, so let's keep searching here. I'm a big time browser, so that's why I love this three column setup. I just can like let my eyes wander and get ideas, and it's like a mini Pinterest for creating my set list. I just scroll and get ideas. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete these songs here because it's another trick that I have just to help my brain see the gaps here and to not, fill it in with anything else. Then he rose. I had got to play that in A, and Canvas and Clay definitely in B. So, and I don't want to be skipping through a bunch of keys. So I'd rather just stick to like two keys once, especially after this little dash here. I want to just stick to two keys max. And I want to be cognizant of where the key change is. Preferably, the key change will be best after this, after Then He Rose, because I'm having the church sit down. It's a really good point at the set list to change keys, but sometimes that's not possible. So thinking about Behold the Lamb. Behold the Lamb is kind of themed along the cross as well. It's in the key of A. It would make a decent second song, but all right, why don't we go ahead and put Behold the Lamb as the second song. It's the same thematically, as Then He Rose, and it's the same key. It works as a second song. Honestly, I'm not quite sure about Canvas and Clay. I feel like I'd be forcing it at this point, so I'm just going to take it out. It's okay if I go another Sunday without playing it. It's not a big deal. So yeah, now we got these two songs. I don't want to stay too heavily on the cross. I feel like that theme can really take over a set list, and it can feel pretty heavy, like it's Good Friday or it's Easter Sunday or something, So I want to give the church a well-rounded set list. But these two songs are good, and I think after this, if I kind of break out of that for the last two songs, that would work. I would like to find something maybe in D, because that's kind of a relative key to the key of A. Waymaker is in D, and it looks like I haven't done that one for a bit. Yeah, look at that. I think it's all the way up there. And then if I feel like my eyes might be deceiving me, I'll even do a little search. I don't know why I have the word Justin in my search field. Waymaker. Okay, and I'll scroll down here. Okay, it's there at our night of worship, which isn't a big deal. I'm not gonna really count that. Oh, okay, then I did it here on the 13th, which totally works. It's past kind of that month timeline that I like to look at. So I'm gonna put that as number 3 for now. All right, so here we got Here's to the One, upbeat, and Then He Rose, upbeat. I have the church sit down. We do Behold the Lamb, kind of stays in the same theme and in the same key, which is nice. Waymakers in the key of D. We're kind of, switching themes a little bit. It's all worship, but kind of switching themes a little bit. The key works nicely transition wise. It's also kind of cool that with the key change comes a theme change as well. So I'm trying to think of the lyrics of Waymaker. I'm thinking of the key of Waymaker. My mind is already automatically going to Great is Thy Faithfulness, because I sing that song in the key of D. So I'm going to go to, first I'm going to go to Waymaker. I like to open up these songs and look at the lyrics and just kind of get ideas a little bit. Light in the darkness, my God, that's really... Yeah, so it's just, reminding us of who God is. He's moving on our behalf kind of thing. So Great is Thy Faithfulness, it might be a bit of a stretch. I can also look through this list here and see, just kind of look at the keys. Come Thou Fount. Yeah, maybe Come Thou Fount could work. You could also always just go back to the key of A too. Alright, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and put Come Thou Fount at the end of this set. Sometimes you just got to call good enough, and without trying to reach the state of perfection for your set list. There's going to be more set lists in the future. I think it's a really well-rounded set, and wherever you put a hymn, for the most part, it's going to work. Because hymns are just, they're beloved. Everyone loves a good hymn. They don't care if it's like out of your thematic planning for your set list, whatever. And so I just need to find it. Wow, it's been a while since I did that song, actually, so that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a really good thing. Key of D is a great song. Sometimes I actually have a tutorial that I did for that song, and I did it in the key of E, but key of D works too. So that's a good set right there, man. Got some good openers. We changed some things up. We're not copying a previous set list. I never copy and paste. Sometimes I'll copy and paste like two songs, like, oh man, those two songs worked really well together, and I did it like 6 months ago. So I'll just copy and paste that. Very rare, but sometimes I do that. But for the most part, I don't like to copy and paste, and this set is not copying and pasting anything. So I think it works well.
Alright, so there you have it. I planned my set list for the 18th. You can see that I was kind of struggling there at the end, but I just decided to go for it with Come Thou Fount. You got to realize sometimes that there's more Sundays coming, and you're going to make more set lists. So sometimes you just have to leave well enough alone and move on. I can't sit there all day and craft this perfect set list. And all these songs are worship songs, and they're going to bless people and connect people to Jesus. And that's what matters. I think just as long as you did your best as a worship leader to make, the best set that you possibly could for that particular Sunday. So just to recap, you saw that I checked 3 main things going into a new set list. The first thing is band roster. Who have I planned to play for that particular Sunday, and what are they capable of? The second thing is calendar. Which Sunday of the month is it? You saw that for us, the first Sunday means that I have to plan a communion song. Or maybe I can't rehearse the week before, and that's going to greatly affect which songs you choose to play. You can't play a brand new song if you can't rehearse for it. And the third thing was the song patterns. Which songs did I play a month ago, and what new songs have I done, and should I do that new song again? And then when I got into the actual set list and mapping out which songs were going to go where, there was another 3 tools that I used for that. And those were themes, keys, and transitions. Can I group any songs by theme? And you saw that I did that with Then He Rose and Behold the Lamb. Those are both very cross-oriented songs. Or can I group any songs by keys? Those same 2 songs, again, they're both in the key of A, which was really nice. And then the last 2 songs were both in the key of D, which worked out nice. And then transitions. How are songs going to transition between one another, and, will they flow nicely? And obviously, all these steps are taken after the most important one, and that is prayer. Have you prayed? Have you gone to God to ask Him for help and for guidance in choosing the right songs? I think that's really important, the most important step of this process. One thing I wanted to note is that if maybe you don't have this massive backlog of songs that you can look back on as reference and inspiration, one way that you can plan a set list that would help you in that scenario is by starting with the song. Choose one song that you want to do for that set list, one song that you're really passionate about, and then build the set around that one song. Alright, so that is our worship tutorial for today, guys. If there is another video that you'd like me to make pertaining to worship leading, whether that's another song tutorial or maybe more of this back-end logistics stuff, vote for that down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But I hope that this video helped you. If it did, why don't you give it a like and maybe even subscribe so that you don't miss future worship tutorials. I'll see you guys in the next one.